Good evening, Nghi. Welcome to your IELTS writing course. This is lesson number 5. Today we move on to a very new unit, Unit 3, writing. Let's start. So, Nghi, please read the content of this unit. So, Unit 3, Art and Architecture. In this unit, you will learn how to
describe changes on a map, including which tenses to use, summarize information with appropriate discourse markers, ensure good coherence and cohesion in your answer.
Thank you very much. So in today's unit, Unit 3 writing, we focus on task 1 again, and specifically map description. All right. So before we practice this task type, let's just get to know the map writing again. So first off, for map writing, you need to compare one location between two different times or compare two locations in one map. All right. So those are two main map task types. So that there can be two map types and one map type. Okay. So now let's have a look at again the writing procedure. So remember the 3 steps. Number 1 is you need to think and plan to really understand the question and plan your writing. Number 2, step 2 is to start writing, and step 3 is checking. Review your writing and improve grammar, vocabulary, and so on. And map writing also follows the same structure with introduction, overview, and body paragraphs. Let's have a look at this map task type. Okay, so can you read for me the question, the maps below?
The maps below show the changes that have taken place in Middleside Village and Fontaine, a neighboring town, since 1962.
Thank you very much. So this is a map task type, and specifically many maps, and you have to compare them between time periods. So first off, it's a map, and where is the data recorded?
The data is recorded in Middleside Village and Fontaine.
That's right. Well done. So Meadowside Village and Fontaine. And what are the time periods?
The time period is since 1962 and now.
Good job. So you can say there are three time periods: 1962, 1985, and now. So with this kind of time period, what tense will you use? If you were to write this description, what tense, what verb tense would you use?
I think for the past, we will use like past tenses, and for the present, we will use like present tenses.
Good job. So specifically, you can use simple past or past perfect. And for present, you can use present perfect. Yeah. Okay. Right. So that's my suggestion. Now, please spend some time to read the sample answer. This is a very good sample from Miss IELTS list. And when you finish, we will discuss the structure together.
Dạ con đọc xong rồi.
Ok, cô cảm ơn Nghi. Rồi, thế bây giờ con xem cho cô nào. Đầu tiên là cái phần mở đầu là đoạn văn thứ mấy nhé con nhỉ?
Dạ cô nói
Introduction.
lại được không ạ?
Where is the introduction? Which paragraph is the introduction?
I think the first one is the introduction.
That's right. So you see, the introduction goes into more detail and paraphrases the question and the map. So in the question, it says the maps. How about in the introduction? What does it say? How does the writer paraphrase the maps below show?
Uh, are you asking the introduction or the overall?
The introduction, please. We are talking from the beginning of the writing. So in the question, it is the maps below show. How is this paraphrased in the introduction?
It said that the three maps illustrate.
Good job. Well done. So there you see, the introduction goes into more detail and does not copy the task question. So instead of maps, they say three maps. Now, instead of show, they say illustrate. Now, the changes that have taken place in Meadowside Village and Fountain, how does it say in the introduction?
It has said that the nearby town has developed from 1962 to present.
That's right. So how Meadowside Village and Fountain, which is a nearby town. So instead of neighboring town, it's nearby town. And instead of the changes, they say how they have developed, okay, from 1962 to the present. And they even add the years in brackets. Okay, so that is how the writer paraphrased the task question, and you can learn from that as well. All right. So for example, they add detail, the three maps, they change the verb, illustrate, and they change the structure. Instead of a noun phrase, the changes that have taken place, they turn it to a clause, how Meadowside Village and Fountain, which is a nearby town, have developed. All right. Now let's have a look at the overview. How many sentences are there in the overview?
There are two sentences in the overview.
Good job. What does the first sentence do?
The first sentence tell us that there are changes in the first phase and now. In 1962 and now.
Okay. So the first sentence is an overview of the changes, of the main features of the changes. So both of the village increased in size and merged together, and Meadowside became a suburb. So you see, in one sentence, you can summarize the whole change. Now, what does the second sentence do?
The second sentence go deep into the details.
And what three areas of change are mentioned?
The size, the facilities, and I think it's become a server.
Okay, actually, that is an overview, right? Now, the detail are infrastructure, housing, and facilities. Okay, so infrastructure are things like roads, railway. Housing are things like housing estate, hotels, and facilities are things like station, supermarket, and so on. Yeah, so the three areas that are mentioned are infrastructure, housing, and facilities. These are the details. Okay, so normally you would follow the flow of general information, so like the first sentence, and specific information like the second sentence. Now, how many body paragraphs are there?
There are three body paragraphs.
And why is it divided so? Why are they divided so?
Because it's matched with the pictures, with 3 pictures.
So how does the first body paragraph open? What phrase signifies the first body paragraph?
In 1962,
That's right. And the next body paragraph?
by 1985,
That's right. And the final one, the third body paragraph?
currently.
Good job. So there you go. In order to organize your body paragraph clearly, you need to add adverb phrases or linkers so the examiner know what your body paragraph will be talking about. So we see body paragraph 1 talks about the 1962 map, the next one 1985, and the next one now. Okay, so instead of now, they say currently, right? Now, what about the verb tense? Let's look at the 1962 paragraph. What verb tense was used?
It used past simple.
That's right. Good job. Past simple. And describe the map in the past. Good job. Now, 1985. What tense was used?
There are past simple and past perfect.
That's it. So you see, firstly, it is still in the past, so they use past tenses. What is more, the writer wants to suggest a time in the past before now. So the writer used past perfect as well. So past of the past. What is special about past perfect? Is it active or passive sentence?
It's passive.
That's right. So one more thing you will notice about this map description type is that, like process description, they also use active and passive sentence. Why? They use passive sentence to stress the verb, the action being done in the map. They want to stress the action being done in the map and the person or thing being affected by the action. Okay, so they use past passive sentences to emphasize past action and emphasize the verb and the thing being affected. Right, so remember that in your writing for map description, you can use passive voice as well. Okay, now the final body paragraph, what tense is used here? What tenses are used?
It use present perfect.
Yeah, and what?
Present simple.
That's right. So mostly present perfect and present simple. So you see a shift in tenses because it depends on the time frame being described. All right, so remember that in maps, especially 2 or 3 map types, yeah, you have to pay attention to the time period being talked about. So you use the tenses correctly. And yeah, another thing, remember you can use passive voice, so passive sentences. Good job. Okay, do you have any more questions about, do you have questions about this writing? Or is everything clear?
I have a question. Actually, because I saw it like it wrote the west, the south, southeast, and is there a compass on the map, or I just have to like indicate the direction my own?
Oh, I see what you mean. So on the map, there is no compass, right? So if there is no compass, the default direction will be north, south, east, west. So yeah, let me draw on the map. So if there is a compass, let me see what. You just base on the compass. If not, the standard one is like this. Okay, sorry. Okay, so if there is a compass, you use the direction on the compass, and if there is no compass, the default direction will be north, south, east, west, like what I drew on the screen. Okay, yeah, so you can see from Fountain, well, Fountain had a railway line running through it to the north. Okay, Meadowside located to the west. The Fountain only had a small road from the west. Okay, yeah, good idea there. Yes, very good question. You just pointed out what I forgot to tell you. So so actually two features of map description is actually, firstly, there are phrases to show location. Yeah, so separate, running through it to the north, located to the west, a small road from the west. So yes, thank you for that question. This is also a very important piece of information I forgot to emphasize. So number one, in map description, you need to use location descriptive language. And those normally are prepositional phrases, yeah, to show location. So to the north, to the west, from the west, yeah. Extended to the east, a housing estate in the west, in the south. So yes, once again you asked, there is no compass. So what should you do? So if there is no compass, the standard compass, the default compass will be this, okay? North on the upper side, south on the lower side, east on the right side, and west on the left side, okay? Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Okay, yes, I have to thank you for the question because you remind me to tell you that one feature of map description is you need to use descriptive language or language to describe location. So some of them are prepositional phrases like next to and opposite and to the west, to the east. Now let me find some more. To the north of the station, to the south on the other side of the road. Okay, so there you go. Now you see, if there is a compass, you rely on that compass. If not, the standard one is north, south, east, west, like this. Now, there will be some different preposition to use with the location. What is the difference? Okay, so firstly, let's have a look at the first body paragraph, running through it to the north. Fountain had a railway running to it to the north. So to the north is like a prepositional phrase, going towards the north. Okay, to the west is here, to the west, a fountain. Now, from the west is describing this road approaching Meadow Village from the west. Okay, now what is the difference between to the north and from the west or in the west? Okay, so it has also developed a housing estate in the west. So let's have a look at the 1985 map, a housing estate in the west. Okay, so when you say in the west, it's located in that corner in the west, right? And in the south, a supermarket. Okay, so when you say in the south, it's located in that area in the south. And the same goes for to the north of the station, a hotel. And to the south on the side of the road is a business park. So to the north or to the south of something, okay? So can you feel the difference between the different preposition?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so remember to use them correctly. So for example, to the north, to the west is like heading toward that direction. And from the west or from the east, so it's from that direction heading to you. So that's why it's from and to, right? But if it's in that location, right? Okay, so that is the first feature I forgot to tell you. That is, you need to have phrases to describe location. Number two, the second feature of map description is you need to use verbs to describe changes. Okay. Let me see. Add. Running through it. Located. Add. Okay, and you can turn the verb into a noun phrase. Was a considerable growth in size. Had been converted into. Had also developed. Has expanded further. Runs through. Has been extended. Reach. The railway line which runs through Fontaine has been extended to reach a station which has been built between Fontaine and the suburb has been built. To the north, a hotel has been constructed, and opposite the station to the south on the other side of the road, there are a business park. So there you go. Number 2, the second feature of map description is you need to use verbs, nouns, adjectives, adverb to describe the changes of the map. Yeah. So that's a bit similar to line charts or charts with time change, right? You need to use increase, decrease, or fluctuate to describe the changes in the data. And the same goes for map. You have to use verbs and nouns and adverbs and adjectives to describe the changes of the map. However, the changes are quite visual. They are not data to increase or decrease, right? They are things being built or set up or changed in a map. So that's why today we will learn in the unit 3 writing, we will learn some verbs to denote those changes. Okay, so welcome to unit 3 art and architecture. So we'll learn to describe changes on a map. Okay, so let's see some of the verbs. All right, so now we're going to learn some more verbs. Put the verbs into the correct category. So the verbs can denote build, change, or remove. Okay, so in order to build, you have some other verbs. In order to change, you have some verb, and to remove, you have some verb. For example, demolish. To demolish is to remove. Okay, so I will give you 10 minutes at most to do this exercise, and then we'll check the answers together. You feel free to look up the dictionary.
Dạ con xong rồi.
Ok, cô cảm ơn Nghi, good job. Right, thì bây giờ con sẽ tham khảo với đáp án trong giáo trình và xem mình làm được đúng bao nhiêu động từ nhé. Okay, so build, we have put up, develop, erect, construct. So four verbs for build. Four verbs meaning build. Now, the verbs for change are much more common. Extend, enlarge, alter, modernize, replace, relocate, expand, renovate, convert. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 verbs for change. And the other 4 are for remove. To demolish, knock down, tear down, and flatten. So how many did you get correct out of 17? Actually 16 because demolish has been done.
I get it like 15 because I was wondering where I put the replace because I think it is like take the new things and put the new buildings there and then like put up the new one and then remove the old one.
Yeah, I see there's some meaning, yeah, some matching in meanings there. Yes, it's overlapping in meaning. So yeah, I think they put replace in change because the thing being replaced doesn't mean there'll be an empty slot there. There'll be something else there. So it's change. But when you remove, there will be nothing there. So to demolish, to knock down, to tear down, or to flatten. So that block will be empty. There will be nothing there. But if you replace, yeah, there will be something new in its place. So yeah, that's why they put it into change. Yeah. Okay, good job. Anyway, you got most of it correct. So to save time, the next task asks us to change the verbs into nouns. Why is this? Well, this is because for IELTS writing, both tasks, you need to show a wide range of vocabulary. And one thing to do that, one technique to achieve that variety in language is to use different word forms. So for example, if you have used verbs, you can change that to nouns when you use it again, or vice versa. You can use noun and then change to verbs. Yeah. So just quickly, can you read the pairs of words for me? So for example, put up, putting up.
Put up, putting up, develop, development, erect, erection, construct, construction, enlarge, enlargement, alter, alteration, modernize, modernization, replace, replacement, relocate, relocation, expand, expansion, renovate, renovation, convert, conversion, knock down, knocking down, tear down, tearing down.
Okay. Remember the final verb is tear, tear down, tearing down. Can you say that?
Tearing down.
That's right. Why? This is because with the same spelling, T-E-A-R, if you say tear, sorry for that. I meant to open this. If you say tear, it's the noun, and it means water coming from your eyes when you cry. Okay? No matter if it's ear. Let me just quickly ear, tear. Okay? But if it's air, tear, so it will be the verb. Okay? It means to to tear down. Xé, phá hủy. Okay, so remember the verb you want is tear, to tear. Don't tear this paper. Yeah, so tear down, to destroy, to remove. All right, and that means the noun is tearing down. Okay, all right, so what do you notice about the verb changing to the nouns? what kind of suffix do you put after the verbs to create nouns?
I think you could put like in
Right?
and
Very good.
option.
That's right. Good job. Yes, so three main ways you can turn verbs into nouns is firstly, turning it into a present participle, meaning putting in after the verb, putting, knocking, tearing. Another way is to put ment, like development. And another way is to put in, so erection, construction, expansion, and so on. Yeah. Okay, so those are three main ways you can turn verbs into nouns. So remember to vary your language by turning verbs into nouns and vice versa. All right, so now let's go back to the unit. So just quickly, I want you to describe where you live. For example, what kind of housing, facilities or features does your area have?
Do I have to write that down?
Oh no, just we're just doing a quick speaking activity to get started.
Oh, okay. I live in Nghi City, the new province. There's a park near my house, a school, and a convenience store. My house has my areas have like a lot of green trees, and the road is kind of busy at rush hours. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So how has your hometown changed since you were little? What are the key changes?
Hmm. When I was little, my hometown, like it only has like middle field, and there's are a lot of cattle that, and now there's are less cattle than before. There are more noise pollution and more apartment. Uh, I sometimes hear a tractor come along, but I used to hear that a lot when I was a child.
I see. Now, if you could change anything about the architecture and design of your hometown, what would you change and why?
If I could change anything about my hometown, I would say that I would build a stair in the Baden Mountain in my hometown, because there is only stair from like the uh from like to the middle of the mountain, and you have to take the cable car to the top of the mountain, and then I would like to build a stair to the top of the mountain so that everyone can go there without paying like extra tax for the cable car. Yeah.
I see. Okay, thank you very much for your sharing. So yes, we see that there are many facilities around your area. And yes, there are some changes as you've expressed. So now let's have a look at a different area, a map of a town. Okay. So summarizing information is a key technique for you when you do map description task type. Okay, so this task requires you to summarize the main changes to a plan, a map between two time periods. And there are three important elements to this kind of text. So in your writing, you need a good introductory sentence which explains what information will follow. The body paragraphs or the middle paragraphs that focus on the key changes in a concise form supported by examples and a summary of the main points presented. So the approach in this course book is introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusion. This is also an acceptable way to approach your writing test one. However, as I told you, the structure to include introduction, overview, and body paragraph is better because it's safer when you have put down everything important first, like the introduction and overview. It's better that way. So you don't, so you are not afraid of running out of time and not being able to finish the conclusion. Okay, so I would suggest you follow this structure of introduction, overview, and body conclusion. However, if you like, the structure in the course book is also acceptable. Introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusion, as long as you make sure to complete everything in time. Okay, now please, can you please just read aloud the question?
The maps show part of the town of Halton in 1900 and 1935. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant.
Good job. And this is how you can read this one quickly. Yes, it is possible to say 1,900. Yeah, so that's one way to say this year, 1,900, the year 1,900. Another way you could say is 1900. Okay, so there are two ways to say this year, 1,900. And the other way is 1900. I would suggest you say the second method, 1900, because it's faster. Okay, so remember this is 1900. All right, so the map show part of the town Paulton in 1900 and 1935. Okay, so your task is to look at the introductions 1, 2, 3, 4 and match that with the comments A, B, C, D, right? So I will leave both the maps and the 4 introduction and the comments, and your task is to match the introductions with the comments, okay? So spend some time to match them, and when you finish, we can discuss.
I have finished.
Thank you very much. So can you tell me the comments of each introduction? Number 1, please.
Number 1 is D.
Can you explain as well? So why do you choose D?
Because I think it's go too deep into details.
Okay, so you see cottages, factory, cafe, small shop, so too much detail. Good job. Sorry, too many details. Okay. Number 2, please. What's the problem with number 2?
Like it repeats the exact sentence like from the question.
So there are 2 things you should avoid, right? Going to too much detail and copying directly from the task question. Okay, what about number 3?
Number 3 is B because I think it is the best of all of 3.
Good job. Yes, it's clear and we know what the writer is going to talk about without going to too much detail. Remember, a good introduction needs to show the 3 W. Do you remember the 3 W's?
When, where, and what?
Okay, so they are what? The first one and the most important is what? What is the chart? So this is a map, right? What does it show? It shows how the residential area around Bailey Street and Trent Street was modernized. Okay, so remember the first W is what? And the second W is?
When?
Okay, and the third W?
Where?
That's right. Okay, so some tasks, they have all of these three. Some tasks only have what and when, and some tasks only have what and where. So looking at this introduction, what is included in the introduction? Number 3. What do you see in the, what W do you see in the introduction for number 3? Nhìn vào cái mở bài trong phần 3 thì con thấy có cái thành tố nào trong 3 cái chữ W trên ạ?
Dạ là cả ba.
Chính xác. Đó, con sẽ thấy cái what đầu tiên đấy chính là map. The map. Rồi con thấy where chính là sorry, cái what thứ hai chính là how residential area was modernized. Đó, và con thấy cái where nữa đúng không ạ? Là around Bailey Street and Trent Street important. Và when là khi nào con nhỉ?
Between 1900s and 1935.
That's right, good job. Đó, thì bài này, đặc điểm của bài này là nó có cả 3-4 cái thông tin đó, nên là tất cả đều xuất hiện nhé. Thì con chú ý cho cô, để mà có được một cái mở bài tốt, con phải để ý cái 3W này, nó đã có đủ chưa? Đầy đủ hết từ đề bài cho đến cái chat chưa? Đó, thì mình để cho cô là đầy đủ thông tin là như vậy, có 3 cái W đó nhé. Okay, so number 3 is the good introduction. It is clear and without going into too much detail. However, you notice the verb in the task question, it says show, and in the introduction, it says show as well. So if you were going to write this this introduction, I would advise you to use a different verb. For example, illustrate. Okay, illustrate. Right? Okay, now final one, number 4. What is the matter with number 4?
It doesn't have what and when. It only have where.
That's right. So this gives very little information, not a full introduction. Good job. That's it. You have identified the correct W's. All right. So remember, for the introduction, introductions should set the scene for what comes next in the text. Avoid simply repeating what the task question says, and avoid writing 1 or 2 words. Yeah, so instead, you should write concise sentences which clarify what you are going to talk about. So what does it mean by concise? Remember the 3 W's, okay? And the information from the task question and the chart. Now, I'd like you to, let me see, to look at the maps again. Look again at the 2 maps. Categorize the following features as either industrial, residential, commercial, or recreational. Okay, so why are you doing this? This is because this is another way to approach map description. So just come back to the slide for a little bit. So one way to approach map description is to go by the years. So the 3 maps for 3 years, 3 body paragraphs for 3 years. 1 map, 1 body paragraph. So this is an easy way. This is an easy and straightforward way to develop your map description. However, another way is to group the details on the map according to the content of the map. So for example, this is a town. So in a town, there are industrial area, there are residential area, there are commercial area, and recreational area. So in the main body of your map description, you will get more marks if you summarize information in the map rather than listing the changes. So how do you summarize? So you can try to group details together under main headings. For example, a swimming pool, cinema, and bowling alley are recreational facilities. Okay, so let's try and group the details of the map into categories. For example, blocks of flats are residential. Okay, let me see. Now here are the maps again. All right, so I've shown you the maps together with the details. So your task is to complete exercise 5. Group these details on the map into correct category.
Finished.
Thank you, Nghi. Good job. So can you tell me which details belong to which category?
I think for the industrial, there is railway line and wasteland.
Good job. Yes.
For the residential, there are Bailey mansions and terrace houses.
Very good. For commercial?
Commercial, there is cafe, laundry, and shops.
Very good. And finally, recreational.
There are children's playground and Bailey Street Park.
Well done. You did it correctly. So now, remember the categories, right? Your job is to look at the map again and make notes on how the area changed residentially commercially, industrially, and recreationally. Remember the details you just grouped. For this part, I'd like you to write short notes and send them into the chat box for me.
Em xong rồi cô.
Ok, cô cảm ơn Nghi đã cho biết nhé. Để cô xem nào. Trong lúc cô đang xem phần chat box Nghi gửi thì con sẽ tham khảo cho cô bài 6 nhé. Unit 3, exercise 6. Ok, con nhìn ở phía dưới cái trang sách này nhé. Unit 6 sample answer. Alright, thì cô xem của Nghi nào. Good job, rồi cô đã xem xong phần Nghi làm nhé. Và cô thấy con làm rất là tốt và nghiêm túc trong phần này. Mình đã đưa ra các cái chi tiết rất là chính xác và có khi còn đầy đủ hơn là các cái sample answer. Đó, thế sample answer con có câu hỏi gì không hay là có điều gì cần thảo luận với cô không?
Dạ không.
Ok, đó thì con làm rất là tốt rồi nhé. Đó, thì bây giờ mình sẽ quay lại bài số 3 writing ạ. Alright. Như vậy là mình đã nhận biết được một số thay đổi về bốn cái khía cạnh trong bản đồ đúng không ạ? Về mặt nhà ở, thương mại, công nghiệp hoặc là giải trí. Đó thì đấy là khi mà gặp cái map như này chẳng hạn, ví dụ như cái map này chẳng hạn, thì con sẽ nhìn vào các cái chi tiết trên cái map để chia thành các nhóm, chia các chi tiết trên 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 bản đồ thành các nhóm lớn. Đó, chẳng hạn là một cái khu đô thị thì thường có khu dân cư, khu thương mại, khu công nghiệp và khu giải trí. Đó. Thế bây giờ cô sẽ mở cái bài sample answer nhé. Và nhiệm vụ của Nghi là con sẽ đọc cái bài sample answer này. Và cùng lúc đấy con vừa đọc con vừa so lại với cái map xem nó có đúng không. Đấy là thứ nhất. Và thứ hai là con sẽ làm bài 7 ạ. Choose the best discourse markers. Đó thì trong bài summary này nó có 6 chỗ và con sẽ đọc xem 6 cái chỗ chỗ in đậm đấy thì là cái từ nối nào phù hợp nhất vào đó nhé. Thì con sẽ làm bài 7 luôn ạ. Alright. Cô sẽ phóng to hơn một chút xem có được không nhé. Ok, hơi to mất rồi. Cô tí. Alright, như đến mức này nhé. Okay, Nhi, so please read the sample answer while looking at the map and then do exercise 7. Choose the best discourse markers. Bài này thì con cứ làm thoải mái vào file vào vở của con. Sau đó chúng ta sẽ tham khảo đáp án.
Con làm xong rồi.
Ok, bây giờ cô cho mình sẽ đọc lại cái bài này và mình xem cái mạch discourse markers cho bài sẽ là gì nhá. Ok, cô sẽ đọc đoạn văn thứ nhất. The maps depict an area of the town of Paulton in the years 1900 and 1935 and the urban developments that took place. Number one, please, Nghi.
Overall,
Good job. When the main features is mentioned in the first body paragraph, you say overall. And when will you use in summary?
when you need it as a conclusion at the end of the paragraph.
Very good. So there you go. Remember, overall is used at the beginning and in summary is used towards the end of your writing. Okay, so overall, there were a number of notable changes to the buildings and amenities of this area. Okay, the next paragraph, please, Nghi.
In 1900, this area had a combination of residential and industrial features, but by 1935, the industrial features had largely disappeared, whereas in 1900, a railway line ran through the neighborhood. By 1935, this had been removed. Furthermore, the terrace houses, which used to dominate the 1900 map, had been replaced by blocks of flats by 1935, and the areas of wasteland had gone.
Very good. Okay, so you see there, body paragraph 1 focuses on residential and industrial features. So this is one way you can approach map description, okay? So instead of describe each map on each paragraph like Miss List sample, you can approach this task by category like this. Okay, so let's continue. Number 4, please.
Another major change to the area in 1935 was the development of more commercial and recreational features. The demolition of a second row of houses on Bailey Street and the removal of the railway line make room for a spacious park and children's play area. On the commercial side, to the right of the park, some new shops were built on the aptly named New Lane, replacing the small shop of 1900, and the cafe and laundry were relocated and expanded.
Good job. Okay, so I will conclude. To sum up, so you see, this is the end, the conclusion. To sum up, the area was renovated extensively, seeing fundamental changes to its residential accommodation and its commercial and recreational facilities were developed. Okay, so there you go. This writing approached the map according to features. So they group residential features with industrial features. Okay, and for the second body paragraph, they group commercial and recreational features. So this is another way you can plan your writing. They will take some time because you have to do tasks such as exercise 5 and 6 because you need to pay attention to the details of each feature and make comments on how they change. All right, but it will be worthwhile because when you do this, you are showing the examiner that you can summarize the information, not just listing them out mechanically. Okay, as for exercise 7, you will pay attention to the discourse markers because when you use a wide range of discourse markers to illustrate the points you are making, your writing will be more cohesive. And that is one category for marking your writing. Okay, so for example, you can use, you can use whereas, furthermore, another major change on the commercial side. So those are very suitable language to use in the report. So good job, you finished this task well. Do you have any questions about this task?
Oh, actually, I do. I don't really understand the aptly named Newland. What does aptly mean?
Very suitably named. Okay, So because, to the right of the park, some new shops were built on the aptly named New Lane. Because this is new, right? In the 1900 map, there were no new lane. But in the 1935, it was built here. It was developed here. So it's new. So it's very suitably named. The name is very suitable. Okay? So that's my explanation. However, remember, when you have a question about vocabulary, you can ask your teacher for a quick answer. However, for a more detailed answer, please refer to ChatGPT because they give you very detailed feedback. Okay, so you should use ChatGPT in your learning to support your learning. Okay, so for example, this one, you paste the whole thing in to give ChatGPT some information. So for example, your question is, what does the aptly named New Lane mean in this paragraph? Okay, so the aptly named New Lane means the name New Lane is a good or appropriate description of the lane, given the context. So the paragraph is talking about recent developments, including new shops built on a newly constructed lane. It makes sense to call it New Lane because it is literally new. Okay. In short, the aptly named New Lane means that the name is fitting or suitable because it's literally a new street that was recently created. So the writer is drawing attention to the obviousness and appropriateness of the name in the context of the new in construction. Okay. And if you have to translate into Vietnamese, if you want to, yes, because when you learn a language, it's also a good idea to refer to your mother tongue as well. Okay, so aptly as you ask means con đường mang tên rất phù hợp, con đường có tên rất hợp lý, con đường có tên rất thích hợp. Okay, so suitable. Does that answer you?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So remember that when I'm not here to answer your questions quickly, or if you want more detailed answer, remember that you can ask ChatGPT. Okay, it's a very powerful AI tool for us. I learned from ChatGPT as well. Okay, so for exercise 7, we learned some discourse markers to make our writing more cohesive. Okay, let me see. We don't have time to finish the writing today, so we'll do that in the next lesson. Let me see which ones are more important for now. Let's do coherence and cohesion because we're talking about that. So exercise 8 and 9 is for you to do at home. You will match the function A, B, C, D, E with the discourse markers in exercise 7 that we just did. Okay, and you add some more alternative discourse marker for the category. You can use ChatGPT for this, or you can use your own knowledge. Okay, so 8 and 9 is part of your homework. Number 8, once again, to match the discourse markers with the function. And number 9, to add more discourse markers to each group. Okay, now let's move to coherence and cohesion. So as I told you, it's one criteria to mark your writing, right? So coherence means making the text flow and includes ordering information and paragraphing. So basically, is your writing easy to understand and logical? Now, cohesion is joining individual elements such as clauses, sentence, and paragraphs together. So is your writing connected using discourse markers and sentence structure? Yeah, so this includes discourse marker. But other aspect such as avoiding repetition through the use of pronouns and synonyms are considered cohesive device. Okay, so besides discourse markers, to increase your cohesion, you can use aspects such as avoiding repetition through the use of pronouns and synonyms. Okay, so remember, to increase cohesion of your writing, you can use discourse markers like the one we did in exercise 7, or you can use pronouns, you can use synonyms. Okay, that's why we will practice with exercise 10. So please match the examples of cohesion 1 to 5 and with their type A to E. All right, so your task is to identify the cohesion with the type. Let's finish exercise 10. I will give you 5 minutes for this.
Finished.
Thank you very much. So let's discuss this. So first off, number 1, railway line and this. So what do you think this is? What type?
Is using a demonstrative pronoun to avoid repetition.
That's right. Good job. So 1E. Well done. This area and the neighborhood. Sorry. Oh, I mistook. So one is B, using demonstrative pronoun. I just, made a mistake there. So one is B. Good job. And this area and the neighborhood.
Is using synonyms.
Good job. So that's E. Well done. Industrial features and a railway line.
The after noun is more specific than the first noun.
Good job. Industrial feature, and one of that is a railway line. So the second noun is more specific. Good job. So that's D. Now a spacious park and the park.
Using the definite article because the noun has been used before.
Very good. And changes and another major change.
repetition of the same noun a few sentences later to show continuation of an idea.
Good job, well done. So Nghi, there you go. You did very well. That's for the first thing I want to say. And the second thing, besides using discourse markers like overall, furthermore, and so on in exercise 7, right? Besides that, you can use these 5 strategies or these 5 types of cohesive device. Okay, so you can see a railway line and this. So use demonstrative pronoun. This, that, these, those, one. Yeah, so use pronouns. And then you can use synonyms. Use synonyms to avoid repetition. That's the basic strategy there. And you can use specific ideas. You can also use and the. And also don't be afraid to repeat some nouns to show connection. So those are 5 ways or 5 types of cohesive device for you to make your writing link together more logically. All right, so as a final task for this lesson, just complete exercise 11. Look at this list of features which might be found in a cohesive text. So these are features of cohesive text. Now, which features were not included and why not? Right? So just look at the 6 features and tell me which are not, which should not be in a task 1 writing.
I think it is the speculation as to why the changes took place and my opinion of the changes.
That's right. Good job. So for IELTS writing task 1 in general, and this exercise in particular, we will not include information such as number 4 and 6. So you don't guess, you don't try to guess the reasons for the change, and you don't express what you think about the change. Okay, so remember, for task 1 in general and this map description in particular, you don't include speculations and you don't include personal opinion. All right, the rest is okay. So an opening sentence or paragraph to introduce the map and an overview, and then yeah, a general statement of the change which are important, and in the body paragraph, supporting statements which give more details about the general statement. So, and if you want to add a conclusion, it's optional, a recap or summary. Yeah, so those are essential information. And once again, speculation and opinion are not should not be included. Okay, so is this clear for you?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for joining today's lesson. Just quickly recap the content with me. So firstly, for today's lesson, we looked at a sample map description. And this is one way you can approach map description, that is going by the years or the maps. 3 maps, 3 body paragraphs. Another way to approach the map description task is to go by category. This one is more difficult, but I believe it will help you earn more score for task achievement because it tells the examiner that you have effectively summarized the maps. Okay, and then we looked at the words, the verbs to describe change, build, change, and remove. So remember 2 features of map description. Number 1, you should use verbs, nouns to express changes, building, changing, and removing. Number 2, you need to have phrases to describe location and time if there is time. Okay, so describe location and time. All right. So your homework is exercise 8, 9, 12 to 16. So basically, the rest of Unit 1 writing. So you'll do 8, 9 to review the sample answer, number 1 sample. Exercise 12, 13, and 14, 15 is to analyze the second sample. So in this unit, we have 2 sample answers for you to enjoy. And the third task is to write a complete report in the exam skills. Okay. I have one thing to tell you about this week. Actually, on Saturday, we have some family meeting. So our lesson then will be canceled. Okay. So I will give you more homework for you to do at home. So besides this, please complete Unit 3 writing skills modules. Okay. So the homework is the rest of Unit 3 writing from exercise 8 to exercise 16. And the second part is Unit 3 Writing Skills Modules. Ok, rồi thế cô nhắc lại Nhi một chút nhé. Đó chính là thứ Bảy tuần này thì cô có việc gia đình. Thế nên là chúng ta sẽ nghỉ cái buổi đó. Và con sẽ làm nhiều bài tập như vậy. Thì là trong cái giờ nghỉ thì con sẽ tranh thủ hoàn thiện bài nhé. Thì cô nhắc là bài tập về nhà sẽ là nốt cái phần Unit 3 Writing và cái file Skills Modules nhé. Như vậy là 2 nội dung. Nghi sẽ có thể dành cái thời gian nghỉ tối thứ Bảy để con làm bài. Và nếu con làm xong sớm và cần thêm thì cô cũng sẽ gửi thêm bài, thêm đề để cho con luyện viết và tham khảo nhé. Ok, Nghi ơi, thế thì thứ Bảy tuần này là chúng ta sẽ tạm nghỉ và mình sẽ gặp nhau tiếp theo vào buổi tối thứ Ba nhé.
Dạ.
Ok, cô hỏi thêm Nghi một chút là cái việc con dự định thi IELTS thì con đã dự định ngày thi chưa?
Dạ có định là giữa tháng 8.
Giữa tháng 8 à? Ok. Thế thì cô sẽ cũng xem lịch để sắp xếp và cũng hạn chế mình nghỉ bởi vì nó sẽ cô cũng không muốn là ảnh hưởng quá nhiều đến cái kế hoạch thi của con nhé. Ok thì cô xin lỗi Nhi là thứ Bảy này mình sẽ phải nghỉ. Thế cô chào mình sẽ gặp nhau vào 8 giờ tối thứ Ba tuần tới nhé.
Dạ, cảm ơn
Ok.
cô chào
Rồi.
cô.
Cô chào Nhi, chúc con buổi tối vui vẻ. Bye bye.
Bye bye.